My governor pardoned a police officer who was convicted by a jury of his peers for literally killing a Black Lives Matter activist.
His name, Governor Greg Abbott.
Governor Greg Abbott. And here's the problem. That happened maybe 2 weeks after the whole dog situation with Kristi Noem. Now, the whole country went crazy about her killing her dog. I keep trying to remind people that this country still values the life of a dog over our lives. And if we continue to put people into office, and that even means some of our skinfolk who definitely are not our kinfolk, such as Byron Donalds, who are going to continue to say that, like, I mean, the fact that you sitting around talking about life was better under Jim Crow, like, is this because you don't understand history? Or literally it's because you married a white woman and so you think that whitewashed you? I'm not really sure, like, what it is.
Well,
but
you couldn't even be married to a white woman under Jim
Correct. Correct. And it took Joy to call him out. So I'm like, bruh, like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you saying? Like, he just out here, you know, I feel like they give him his talking points and he's like, yes, massa, I got it.
Uh-oh. Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Give me a follow on X. It's at @green_Jericho. On Instagram at JGTalk2. Get yourself some merch. Man, that was a whole lot of stupid. That was a whole lot of racism. And that was a whole lot of lies in one clip. We're going to break it down. I'm not going to leave you blowing in the wind. We're going to nail this shit down. That right there was, I don't think I'm being hyperbolic here. I don't think this is hyperbole. But I think we might be looking at the most openly racist elected official since George Wallace. I think George Wallace is looking down on her or up at her, depending on where he is right now. And he's like, man, I couldn't be that fucking racist if I tried. I believe that Jasmine Crockett, she's probably in her office, in the bathroom in her office, just how can I be as racist as possible? She probably says, in the name of the greatest people that have ever trod this earth, I draw the line in the dust and toss the gauntlet before the feet of tyranny. And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever. And George Wallace is looking at her like, damn, girl, he wasn't black. Because that was pretty damn racist to say that Byron Donald gets his marching orders and says, yes, massa, and that he married a white woman, so he's whitewashed now? What does that even mean? Because he's not on the mental plantation with you and those jackasses on the Breakfast Club? Because he married a white woman, there's something wrong with him? And that's rich coming from a woman who does not have a husband. Jasmine Crockett is 42 years old, no husband, no kids. If you put your ear to her vagina, which I don't recommend without a clothespin on your nose, you can hear her eggs blowing in the wind. That's the winds of time blowing her powdered eggs into the abyss. How dare you talk about who somebody else is married to and you're not married? That's like a marriage counselor who's never been married. So what can you tell me about marriage if you've never tasted of its nectar? So she's speaking on his marital situation and she is single. She goes home to cat hair and a dildo in the dishwasher. But you're going to talk about Byron Donald and who he's married to in such a racist manner. And then she had the nerve to sprinkle little bits of lies on top of her racist souffle. She said, well, I'll let her tell you. Well, what'd you say about your governor, the governor of Texas, and you hear Charlemagne the dog stupid ass in the background? Say his name, Governor Greg Abbott. What'd you say he did?
My governor pardoned a police officer who was convicted by a jury of his peers for literally killing a Black Lives Matter activist.
Say his name, Governor Greg Abbott.
Governor Greg Abbott. And here's the problem. That happened maybe 2 weeks after the whole dog situation with Kristi Noem. Now, the whole country went crazy about her killing her dog. I keep trying to remind people that this country still values the life of a dog over our lives. And if we...
Uh-oh, you hear that? So she says the guy that she's referring to is Daniel Perry. In 2023, he was convicted for the 2020 killing of a Black Lives Matter protester in Texas. Now, when she says Black Lives Matter protester, what skin color do you imagine? And this is why she said that. The fake ghetto girl, the Cosby kid who wants to be from the hood so badly. But what skin color does that put in your mind when you hear her say a Black Lives Matter supporter, a Black person, right? Because then she goes into talking about how this country values the life of a dog over our lives, meaning Black folks. So if America had a choice to put a dog down or a Black person, the one with the most legs would be going home that night, right? This is the guy that she was referring to. This is the guy who was shot and killed by Daniel Perry, who says it was self-defense. I do remember the story. It was a BLM, mostly peaceful protest. This dude was driving for Uber or something. He runs into a crowd of people that were around the car. And then you hear gunshots ring out. And so this dude was openly carrying an AK-47. He approaches the vehicle and they get into an argument. So I don't know about you, but if a guy has an AK-47 hanging around his chest and we start arguing, I'm already going to be on high alert because you have a gun and you're walking up to my vehicle. But anyway, the guy gets convicted, 25 years. But then Governor Abbott overturned it, I think May of last year, and the guy went free. But she told you that Governor Abbott, she told you that Governor Abbott pardoning this guy and setting him free shows that this country values the life of a dog over ours, because Kristi Noem, I think I remember that story. She, for some reason, I guess the dog bit her or something like that, and she shot the damn thing. Okay, it's very old Yeller, but whatever. If my dog bit me or something like that, he's probably going to meet the same end, especially if we're in a rural setting. It's a wrap. So she said that him pardoning Daniel Perry shows that our lives, Black folks' lives, are worth less than a canine. But that dude isn't Black. This is a white dude. So this further proves that they bet on, the left bets on, the Democrats bet on their supporters being so dumb that simply because this elected official, and I'm using air quotes, this elected official telling you, insinuating, and she probably doesn't even know. Let's keep it rural. She probably doesn't even know what this dude looks like. Somebody put a battery in her back. They wound her up. They put some ridiculous eyelashes on her hair and some on her face and some Korean chick's hair on her head. And they sent her out in the world to say stupid shit, betting that their constituents won't do any research, will just take her word for it. So how does Governor Abbott pardoning the killing of a white guy show that Black folks' lives are worth less than a dog? Well, that doesn't make sense, but they don't expect them to peel back any layers. She said that knowing that people would assume that the dude who was killed was Black, and he's at a Black Lives Matter rally or protest. He's got to be a Black guy. But it looks to me, judging by the stories we hear, it was the white dudes getting shot out there More than some black folks, Kyle Rittenhouse, this dude, Garrett Foster. The white dudes are out there dropping like flies. But she was betting on the fact that people would believe that. And like I said, she probably doesn't even know. Somebody else told her that shit. She never looked into the story. And if she did, she's more of a liar. But this is absolutely ridiculous. Garrett Foster, the guy who was killed by Daniel Perry, is a white dude. So how does that show that black folks' lives are worth less than a fucking dog? It's not. It makes no sense. It's absolutely stupid, but they're betting on it. You know why they keep betting on it? You know why they keep putting their money on black? And it's not because Wesley Snipes told them to in Passenger 57. Always bet on black. The reason they always bet on black is because it always happens. Because all you have to do is say something. If it pertains to race, black folks won't question it because they're too fucking over emotional, and the guilt-ridden white liberals won't question it because questioning it will make you, I can't even say it. It'll make you the R word. Fucking dumb. And then she said that Byron Donald is some kind of a sellout because he said life was better under Jim Crow. Well, I'm going to echo that point. Life was better for black folks under Jim Crow. Jericho, how can you say that? Because you look, how can you say that? Because it's the truth. Because when you hear Jim Crow, what do you think about? A sign that says colored only, whites only. You can't come in here and shit at my soda fountain. You can't shit at my counter, boy. Right? But what they don't tell you is during Jim Crow, there was the black side of everything. They didn't need to use the white man stuff. I know they show you in these stupid movies that they make about racism every 5 years, that just a little black girl is so parched that she just wants a drink of water. Well, you can't, girl, because this is a white fountain. Go around the corner to the black fountain that has rusty pipes and flies around it. No, white society was mirrored by black society. Take all the things that white people had, dip them in chocolate, and put them over here, and the black folks had the same thing. But I'm going to give you one statistic that's going to prove that life was better under Jim Crow. And the reason life was better under Jim Crow is because more black kids were raised in a 2-parent home. And that is connected to everything. Imagine having 10 balloons. They all have strings on them, and you're holding them in one hand. You have all these issues floating up around you, but they all lead to what? One hand. All of those problems, all of those ills lead to one hand, and that hand is the nuclear family. You destroy that, and said balloons are going to be all fucked up like they are now. Jim Crow was from 1874 to 1975. Man, that's over 100 years. So under the sweltering heat of racism and Jim Crow in America, black folks still managed to have 21% of their kids raised in single-parent homes in 1865. Woo! Racism was higher than shit. It was higher than a giraffe's asshole, right? 1865, damn, that was right after slavery. Woo, shit. And that was before Jim Crow. After 1940, come on now, still had segregated militaries, segregated everything. 1940, 17% of black kids were raised in single-parent homes. Shit, that's Asian people today. And look how successful they are. But there's no connection, right? It's just racism, kids. 1940, 17%. Let's jump ahead 10 years to 1950. Woo-wee! If you were a black performer, you had to go through the kitchen. You had to go through the steam and the hot grease to get out there and perform for those white people. 1950, 9%. damn near cut 1940 in half. 9% of black kids were born to single parent homes. That is success. Because being raised in a two-parent home opens up so much for you, so much potential, so many positive things in your life. A single-parent home, quite the opposite. Prison, poverty, crime. That's what awaits you. If you happen to duck and dodge and spin and jump and dodge all that, you are the exception and not the rule. 1950, 9%. Now we're going to jump to 1965, 15 years in the future. Make sure you get up to 88 miles an hour. This is after the civil rights movement. That was supposed to be, oh, happy day. That's when the doors burst open and all the black folks came out and engaged in a choreographed dance in the sunshine of equality. 1965. 1950 was 9%. Now 1965 is 25%. That's white people today. 25% of black kids were born to single parent homes, meaning more black kids were headed down a road of poverty and crime. How does that happen? After the civil rights movement, where we were allowed to drink whatever water we wanted to. We can go into this store and that store and this place and that place. How did shit get worse? So that's 1865, before Jim Crow. 1950 was a good one. But 1965, we're up to 25%. So what are we up to today? Years after civil rights and the war on poverty and all this equality and DEI and affirmative action, all these things, all these blocks for black folks to stand on. Where are we at today, 2025? By the way, where are our flying cars and dinner pills this big, and we add water, and all of a sudden it's a large pizza, like in Back to the Future 2. Isn't that what 2025 is supposed to be like? Anyway, that's a separate video. Today, 2025, after all this help, after all these hands up and programs and you can't talk to me like that, discrimination and Jesse Jackson and Al Sharptongue and all that bullshit, we are at 72%. It's almost like more government is bad. Jasmine Crockett, you dumbass. Byron Donald has a nerve to say it was better under Jim Crow. That's what the numbers say, stupid. Because the less single parent homes you have, the more successful your society. How many Asian homeless people have you seen? How many Chinese homeless people, Korean, Japanese? How many Indian homeless people you see out there? One, maybe? And they have 17, the lowest out of wedlock birth rate. We have the highest. But nobody's going to look at that. Nobody's going to question that shit because she's speaking to idiots. Governor Greg Abbott pardoned the killer of a Black Lives Matter protester, and our lives are less than a dog, and you look at a picture, dude, he's a white dude. Meet me in the comments, please. What do you think? If a white politician was saying this, it would be over. They wouldn't even be in politics long enough to say all the dumb shit she said. But let a white politician talk about some other white politician marrying a black woman. Is he blackwashed now? He gets his marching orders? Man, please, you already know how that story went in. Talk to me, Goose. But you know how in these videos, a little good gun where I show Americans flexing their Second Amendment muscle, and giving the bad guys exactly what they deserve. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. I'm out.
It's not what anyone expected in this quiet neighborhood.
Very quiet, very safe. At least we felt safe.
As Majwa Medina was terrified to learn her street was the scene of a violent home invasion that left 2 people shot. One of them died.
It's pretty scary, yes. because it kind of shakes your world.
The crime happened Tuesday night on Grand Terrace Road when police say 4 suspects broke into a home. The homeowner doesn't want to be identified because one suspect is still on the loose, but tells us off camera it happened at 9 p.m. when the rest of the family had left. He says he was still there when they broke in through the back door. Police say the man living there pulled out a weapon to defend himself and shot multiple times. A few minutes later, deputies got a call to this gas station where a 33-year-old man had been shot. With him was a 15-year-old. The man died. And an hour later, a third suspect showed up at a different hospital, also shot. All 3 are considered suspects in this case.
That was the initial thing. My husband wants a gun to protect himself.
The homeowner's family gave us a statement saying, in part, home is where we should all feel the safest, and having that sense of security shattered when we least expect it is something no family should have to experience. They went on to say, home invasions might seem unlikely and far-fetched, but this experience has been a sobering reminder that crime can happen at any time, and self-defense preparation is truly a life-saving tactic to protect our loved ones against home invasions.